Infinity Game here, and I'm going to be talking about everything we know about M5. If you have been living under a rock for the last couple of days, N5 was announced at JourneyCon. That is the next edition of Infinity, and will draw N4 to a close with its release. There's not a lot we know about it at the moment. I haven't seen anything at all, apart from what's out there in the public, but I have watched the entire Gen Con seminar live stream. Thank you so much to James Chauvel. There's another video out, or coming out soon, that is the summary of that event. And then obviously we've seen the studio update, but not a lot else. I've summarized all of the N5 bits from that, so that if you're an Infinity player and you're keen to see what's going to be coming in October, this is the early ideas, this is the early information that we have all in one place. So a couple of things that really hit the mark with the N5 releases. So skipping over a whole bunch of things. Big thing is going to be that N5 is going to be launched with a new battle box with JSA and Pano in it. A New Horizon, JSA is becoming its own vanilla faction, just in case you don't know. It's getting its own sectorial, and that's effectively what's going to be in that box. Is that for the new beginners, it's basically going to be Pano versus JSA, red versus blue. For the more advanced players, they're going to be like sectorial level playable units. We have an understanding from Carlos that this is going to be a continuation of a lot of the rules, of a lot of the key mechanics that we have. It's not revolution, it's evolution to a degree. Carlos went to great pains in both the studio update and in the live preview to say that Infinity's never been in a better position. The rules, there's almost no grey areas anymore. The rules are tidy, they're efficient, it's all very clean. So they're not looking, it doesn't sound like they're doing a major overhaul of how everything works, but they're going to be refining a few things and adding a few more things as well. Details were slightly out, but there's going to be points updates and there will be rules updates. There will also be new profiles, including unit types released, new categories of profiles. It's more expansive than rules. It's going to be bigger and better release schedules. It's going to be better business planning around how everything gets done. So you're not waiting forever for a profile to then get models. There's actually going to be better timetables and turnarounds of profiles actually getting minis so that you can play those in tournaments, which is excellent. I love the idea of that. CB are also going to include more rules explainers. We also found out that Sibylla, the new AI chatbot, is going to be quite key to M5 and is likely going to be a bit more of a wiki going forwards from M5. We don't have a better release date than October yet. It sounds as though there's going to be a big cull, kind of a bit of a reset for M5. So there might not be a lot of factions immediately playable for M5. It sounds as though it's going to be the JSA Pano from that New Horizon kind of box that's coming out. And then it sounds as though, well, a lot of things are going to get cut. Quite a few things are actually going to make a return, but as boxes, as bigger releases. Think Bakunin re-release from N4, because that got mentioned several times during the seminar preview. They are going to make N5 more beginner friendly. Code 1's getting cut. Well, it sounds like it's getting completely killed off, near enough. Obviously the models are still playable, but they were always playable in the main N4 rule set. What's going to happen, instead of it being its own system and mechanics with technically its own tournaments, not that very many ever got run, is that that's going to sit within N5, but there's going to be tracks of like product lines that you can buy from so there's an essentials product range, and then there's probably going to be a starter product range, and these are going to be a lot more beginner friendly and ways in. I'm wondering if it's going to be a hybrid between, when you buy a box and they've got that learn to play rule set, or at least they used to, and then they had Code 1, which actually had easier rules to digest, as to whether we're kind of going to go to a hybrid system where there's probably going to be lighter rules within the starter sets that get you into N5. Carlos was very key to point out that for a lot of people for a lot of markets for them that have a really embedded experienced player network, what would happen is that people would just be teaching their new people N4 straight away, but maybe with like a custom minimized rule set and then expand them into it, and not necessarily teaching people Code 1 from the beginning. It was in markets where there wasn't as easy an access to experienced players, where Code 1 probably took off a bit more. They do want to make the whole thing as beginner friendly as possible. One of the confirmations that we did get for M5 is guided missiles is not going anywhere. So stop your chatter about guided missiles needs to be axed, because it's not. What Carlos said word for word, just in case you haven't seen my other video about this, is guided missiles will be fixed in N5 in a way that satisfies those that shoot them and those that receive them. So definitely happening. One of the big things we did get as an insight to N5 is that vehicles are going to be a thing. The question was really well asked, because in N4 there is a rule set that kind of says there's vehicle types and stuff, but there just isn't actually vehicles in Infinity. Motorcycles is as close as we get. Obviously you can mount, dismount them. Same with tags. I mean, they're not really vehicles, but we've got a mechanism for drivers coming in and out and all that sort of stuff. But vehicles has never really been launched into. And so the question was pretty much like, will we be seeing more vehicles in N5? And Carlos said yes. Vehicles are going to be in N5. That's going to be a new class of unit, it seems like. And I'm all for this. I mean, hover bikes could be quite cool in N5, buggies and stuff like that. I don't want it to get too bloated and too big. So, well, I think a lot of people are going to receive this news and just go, oh, there's going to be tanks, there's going to be aircraft, there's going to be flying rules, and guess where we're heading. I think it helps us step into an area that could be quite exciting beyond just motorbikes. And I'm all for it. Like, I love it. I love the idea of that. Other big rules things that we learned was that critical hits in close combat are going to get better. We didn't get specifics on this, but what Carlos did say was that he basically says that a martial arts specialist going into close combat with someone who's rolling on CC26, it should be more effective to dispose of the target in N5. And so it sounds as though that's one of the few mechanics that he at least openly said is going to get re-looked at and kind of like reworked to a degree, would be close combat. He did also say that reinforcements for N5 isn't going anywhere. If anything, it seems as though it's going to be better integrated into N5, and it's going to be better integrated into the ITS mechanics. So for all of those that got excited about reinforcements and it didn't actually end up going anywhere, or you tried it in the tournament scene like I did at Paradiso last year, and it kind of wasn't loved, it sounds as though that's actually getting a bit of a revamp for N5. Sorry, but that is basically all I've managed to glean about N5 from the studio update, from spending an hour or so watching the live preview of the Gen Con updates. So we've got a new box coming, we've got a new faction in JSA becoming a vanilla faction, we've got a new playing area in terms of the planet that's coming, and that's going to be where the story starts for N5. And then from a rules perspective, we know vehicles coming in, we know close combat's getting a bit of an upgrade, we know that they're basically polishing the diamond that is Infinity, the game mechanic system. We're not heading towards walk row dice and cards or anything like that. It's still going to be D20, it's still going to be reactive and active turns, as far as we know. How much of a change we still have yet to see. If I get any more information or if I learn anything else, I will let you know, but that is everything we know so far about M5.